Welcome to another edition of Realer Sports. I'm Peter Rosenberg.
Yeah!
Big episode. Hope everyone had a happy holiday, and we come back with a big episode. We have the new UFC middleweight champion, fresh off of beating Anderson Silva for the first time. Long Island's own Chris Weidman's on the show today.
Yeah! Chrissy, baby!
But let's start out with another athlete, a man who's chiseled out of stone.
Yeah!
Yes, I'm talking about Rex Ryan.
Huh? What?
Let's watch his fat ass climb a fence in Spain.
Climb, fat boy, climb!
Oh, that's not nice, and it brings back bad memories. Probably of Rex Ryan. 12 years old, playing a game of manhunt in the neighborhood, and getting his fat ass stuck on the fence, maybe about 4'5", 175 pounds.
Oh, that's humiliating!
All the neighborhood kids like, lard ass, lard ass, lard ass. Oh, but Rex Ryan is a man who knows humiliation. Let's not forget, he does have a tattoo of his wife wearing a Mark Sanchez jersey.
Is she T-bowing?
Oh,
Lord!
so weird. Weird week for other people too, though. Dwight Howard had an interesting week, right?
Really?
Yeah, should be good news. He's going to the Houston Rockets.
Oh, yeah!
Let's-
Slow clap.
Should be
Great!
be good, except he also got dissed by Ice Cube.
Fuck Dwight Howard, goddammit. We don't need no punk ass motherfuckers on our team.
Ice Cube's a rapper?
I know, that part's weird too, but as if it wasn't bad enough to get dissed by a founding member of NWA, Dwight Howard also got dissed by his now former teammate Kobe Bryant. Get ready, guys. He unfollowed him on Twitter.
Oh! No!
And that's going too far, Kobe. Why would you unfollow a guy who has such amazing tweets like this one?
Loser!
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I read it once and that was plenty. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and unfollow Dwight Howard.
Yeah, me too!
Horrible. There was a really positive story this week. I'm talking about a professional boxer, a guy named Tony Thompson, big heavyweight, having sex with his wife.
Who does that?
Have sex with their wife?
Yeah!
Presumably a lot of people. The more interesting part is who talks about it in a post-fight interview.
What's going to be the soundtrack for Saturday night for Tony Thompson?
Hey man, I'm gonna go home and break my wife's hip. I ain't had sex with her in a while. She's gonna feel the pain.
And the pleasure.
It's gonna be some pleasure mixed in there, but she might be crippled in the morning. So, if anybody out there want to donate a wheelchair to the Save the Miss Thompsons.
But why is she breaking her hip? Is your wife 80 years old? Does she suffer from osteoporosis?
He loves his wife. Leave it alone, man.
You know what? You're right. Let's move on to another fight. This past weekend, it went down. My man Chris Weidman from Long Island became the middleweight champion of the world by beating Anderson Silva, his first loss.
Yeah!
It hurt to see, but it was amazing. We sat down with the new champ, Chris Weidman. It went something like this. Hey, Realer Sports Special. How often has it happened that you have a brand new middleweight champion of the world in UFC? Chris Weidman is in the house, fresh off of beating my guy, my Brazilian brother, Anderson Silva. Congrats, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course. Let me see that belt, man, right out of the gate. I mean,
Don't
I've never
break
seen
it, man. Don't break it. It's heavy.
Ooh, I want to say one thing. First of all, this is friggin' heavy. Even compared to a WWE belt, this is heavy. I want to shout out UFC because instead of trying to fight, like Dana White doesn't fight. He knows the things that other people do well. This joint is straight modeled off of the WWE belts, and it's done right. This is how a championship belt should be. All right, take that back. It is friggin' heavy.
Yeah.
You fight the best UFC fighter of all time, the most compelling UFC fighter of all time in Anderson Silva. Going into it, you truly believe that you would leave with this title?
110%. You know, when I got into the sport, I only did it to be number one. I knew I had the tools to do it. And especially I had the tools to beat Anderson Silva. I think everything that he was weak in, I was strong in, and I just had to go out there and not let myself. I couldn't beat myself, and he does such a great job of
mentally
doing
beating
that.
you before you get there.
Mentally just makes you a midget out there, because if you have any type of insecurity, he exposes it. And the big job for me was not to let that happen, and I didn't let it happen.
Were you surprised that he continued to sort of taunt you as much as he did? Like, he was trying to dare you to throw the punch so he could counter. And I know he does that a lot, but I was like, all right, chill. I thought he was doing it a lot. And he just kept hanging his face out there. Did you know you were going to catch him if he kept doing it?
Absolutely. You know, we trained against guys who would try to do that to me because we knew that's what he does. You know, that's one. He's not the type of guy who's going to go out there in a boxing stance or a Muay Thai stance and act just normal and throw your 1-2 kick. He has to try to make you feel uncomfortable and then hit you with some tricky stuff. That's what he does. And the biggest thing was just stay composed and keep moving forward. And to be honest with you, I thought he felt my wrestling in the first round and my jiu-jitsu, and I think it scared the crap out of him. You know, I could have stayed on the floor with him and just ground and pounded him, and I hit him with some good shots, but instead I went for a submission that I gave up position and got back to his feet because I didn't care.
It's funny. Tell me what you think. When they show the replay of the knockout, I thought that you had a lot more power than you actually gave him in the shot that laid him out. It just seemed like it was a combination of he put himself in a horrible position balance-wise, and you really rung his bell.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was the hardest punch you threw during the fight.
You know, it's all about just getting on the right spot, you know, and got right on his chin. He had his. You can't have your chin up in the air, and he tries to use his head movement and move his hips, and I got in his personal space.
What was it like that night when you got back, though, man? Like, you beat Anderson Silva, dude. Like, it must still be weird to hear that.
It's crazy. You know, I envisioned doing it so many times over and over again for so long, but to actually do it still is just freaking. It's surreal.
Do you love the guy? Like, do you look up to him?
Afterwards, I love the guy. Afterwards, I'm hugging him. You have such a respect for him, and you truly, you know, I feel for him. But we're gonna rematch, and so the love.
Okay, so what's the deal? You know, after the fight, it sounded like he never wanted to fight again. He was done.
He just, I don't know why anybody even is taking. I don't even know what questions are asked after you get knocked out because your bell is wrong. You don't know what the heck's going on. He's just, first of all, that's number one. Your bell was wrong. Number two, he hasn't lost in 7 years. It's a surreal feeling for him too to be losing. So you're asking him questions. He doesn't know.
So you think it's happened? You guys are going to go again?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. December or February.
Are you yet to spend time? Have you had time with a woman yet where the only piece of clothing you're wearing is the championship belt? That's a requirement.
Now that you said that, that's a good idea.
You have to do that.
I think it's happening.
I mean, I wouldn't do it with my physique, but I think you could pull it off. You'd be all right.
I think that's a good call.